Are you preparing for a JavaScript interview and looking for the most asked questions? With its prevalence on the web and its use by tech giants like Google and Facebook, JavaScript has become an essential skill for many job seekers. This video aims to guide you through 30 of the most common JavaScript interview questions, helping you to feel confident and prepared. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced developer, these questions are designed to challenge and enlighten you. Remember to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss any of our informative videos. Starting with the basics, it's essential to have a strong foundation. So let's dive into 10 basic JavaScript interview questions that you're likely to encounter. First off, what is JavaScript? JavaScript is a lightweight, interpreted programming language with object-oriented capabilities. It's used to build interactive websites and is supported by all leading web browsers. Next, what are the advantages of using JavaScript? Well, JavaScript enhances user experience by enabling interactivity and client-side validation. It also allows the creation of complex web applications, as seen with tech giants like Google and Facebook. Thirdly, what are the data types supported by JavaScript? JavaScript supports 6 data types: string, number, boolean, symbol, null, and object. Moving on, what is an object literal in JavaScript? An object literal is a way to create an object in JavaScript. It allows you to define an object's properties and methods directly within the object definition. Now, on to functions. What's the difference between named and anonymous functions in JavaScript? Named functions are declared with a name and can be defined using the function keyword. On the other hand, anonymous functions do not have a name and are typically used for short tasks. They can also be assigned to variables and passed as arguments to other functions. The next question you might face is, what is the scope of a variable in JavaScript? A variable's scope can be either global or local. You may also be asked about the this keyword. In JavaScript, this refers to the object it belongs to. What about callback functions? Callback functions are simple JavaScript functions sent as options or parameters to other methods. And then there are closures. A closure is created whenever a variable defined outside the current scope is accessed from within an inner scope. Finally, how does hoisting work in JavaScript? Hoisting is a behavior where variable and function declarations are moved to the top of their respective scopes during the compilation phase. Mastering these basic questions will give you a solid start in your interview. Now that we've covered the basics, let's move on to some intermediate questions. First up, let's talk about the scope of variables in JavaScript. In JavaScript, a variable can either have a local or global scope. A local variable is one that is defined inside a function and can only be accessed within that function. On the other hand, a global variable is defined outside a function and can be accessed anywhere in the code. Next, we have the this keyword. In JavaScript, this refers to the object it belongs to. It can be a bit tricky to understand, but remember that this always refers to the object that is executing the current bit of JavaScript code. Moving on, we have callback functions. These are simple JavaScript functions that are passed as parameters to other methods. Callback functions are often used in asynchronous operations, where we don't want to block the execution of the rest of the code while waiting for an operation to complete. Closely related to callback functions are closures. Closures are created whenever a variable defined outside the current scope is accessed from within some inner scope. This allows the function to have access to these external variables even after the outer function has completed its execution. Finally, let's talk about JavaScript variable arguments. These represent the arguments passed to a function. In JavaScript, you can pass any number of arguments to a function. The function can then access these arguments using the arguments object, which is an array-like object that holds all the values passed to the function. Now, these were just a few of the many intermediate concepts in JavaScript. Understanding these concepts will not only help you write more efficient code, but it will also impress your potential employers. You see, these concepts show that you have a good understanding of how JavaScript works under the hood, and that you're not just someone who can write code, but someone who truly understands it. Understanding these intermediate concepts will show your potential employers that you have a good grasp of JavaScript. So keep practicing, keep learning, and remember, JavaScript is not just a language, it's a mindset. Feeling confident so far? Now let's get into some advanced topics. Our first advanced topic is the type of operator. This operator is used to get the data type of an operand in JavaScript. For instance, if you use typeof on a number, it'll return number, and if you use it on a string, it'll return string. Pretty straightforward, right? Now let's talk about cookies. Not the delicious kind, but the ones used in JavaScript. Cookies are used to store data on a user's browser. You can create, read, and delete cookies in JavaScript using the document.cookie object. This is especially useful for remembering user preferences or tracking user behavior on a website. Coming up next is the trio of the call, apply, and bind methods. These methods are used to manipulate the execution context and binding of functions. The call and apply methods invoke a function with a given this value and arguments. The main difference is that call accepts an argument list, while apply accepts a single array of arguments. The bind method, on the other hand, returns a new function, allowing you to pass in a this array and any number of arguments. The concept of hoisting is another crucial advanced topic. Hoisting is a behavior in JavaScript where variable and function declarations are moved to the top of their respective scopes during the compilation phase. This means you can use functions and variables before they've been declared. But remember, only the declarations are hoisted, not the initializations. Other advanced topics you might encounter in interviews are closures, the scope of variables, the use of the this keyword, and how callback functions work. Closures are created whenever a variable defined outside the current scope is accessed from within an inner scope. The scope of a variable in JavaScript can be either global or local. The this keyword refers to the object it belongs to. And callback functions are simple JavaScript functions sent as options or parameters to other methods. Remember, the key to mastering these advanced topics is practice. Don't just read about them, but try to implement them in your code. Being able to answer these advanced questions will certainly set you apart from the competition. Congratulations! You're now better equipped to tackle your JavaScript interview. We've journeyed together through a broad spectrum of interview questions, starting from the basics, traversing through the intermediate level, and finally grappling with advanced concepts. Remember, JavaScript is not just a language. It's a tool that powers millions of websites worldwide, including tech giants like Google and Facebook. With its lightweight, interpreted language and object-oriented capabilities, it's no wonder that it's a favorite among developers. We've covered everything from data types, the importance of case sensitivity, to the benefits of using JavaScript. We've also dived deep into the object concept, anonymous and named functions, variable arguments, and the scope of variables. Not to forget the this keyword, callback functions, closures, and the rules for naming variables. Then, there's the type of operator, cookies, and methods like call, apply, and bind. And who could forget about hoisting? But remember, this is just the tip of the iceberg. With over 370 million JavaScript libraries and functions out there, there's always more to learn. So, keep practicing, keep researching, and stay curious. The world of JavaScript is vast and ever-evolving, and your journey in mastering it doesn't end here. It is a continuous process of learning and exploring. So don't stop here. Keep going, keep growing, and keep coding. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, share it with your friends who might also be preparing for a JavaScript interview. Good luck, and remember to keep learning.